What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Nita's Place. And I am here to bring you episodes 5 and 6 of The Madness, okay? This is not going to be long and drawn out like the last couple of them. I've learned how to go a little shorter with these things, so I'm just going to be covering some things. But if you have followed the series, and if you haven't, please go watch my other two videos on The Madness. There were some questions I asked at the end of the last episode. So hopefully, maybe through me breaking down everything that happened in sessions 5 and 6 and episodes 5 and 6, you can figure out some of those answers to those questions. But let's get into the madness. Okay, first of all, Lucy, I have another question though first. Do you think Lucy and Stu had anything going on? Because when he touched her, he was like, I really miss you. Did you see that? Like, and it wasn't like, I miss you like a friend. No, I miss you like, I miss you. Did you notice that? When she went to the house and he gave her $5,000. Okay, just basically this is your finder's fee, because I want you to find that information on that her ex-husband had on a hard drive or something, so he can exonerate himself. So anyway, in the meantime, M, and whenever I say M, I mean Muncie, who's the main character. Muncie is released from jail, and he's just like, like, what is going on? Okay, and Franco released him. Franco had him released, but Stu wants Lucy Simons to basically get him the files, because he feels as though Simon had, a whole lot of information on him. Basically there was a lot of voicemails and things like that which can implicate him, and so he wanted that information back. Okay. In this episode, there's a scheme to it's a scheme, not a scheme, but there is a ploy to try to get Stu to admit to his wrongdoing in this. And so Franco is basically using M, to try to get this information, and solve this, and bring this case to a close that he's been on for the last 5 years. Okay. Lucy's ex Simon, he stored the hard drives in his furniture shop that he had, and Lucy went by and she was not happy with the manager. There was a nice little altercation they had there, and come to find out that a guy named Bobby Woods is part owner and came by the day before Lucy showed up and took everything out of the safe, including the hard drives. Okay, so Lucy has to go back and try to get the information from this Woods guy, who is still part of what I call the cult or the forge. Okay, and Woods, the scene with Lucy and Woods, see, Woods, you could tell he has a liking for Lucy, and he wants her back in if she wants back in, but he told her that she would have to convince the rest of them, and plead her case with the group. So that's what she went to go do, and you'll have to check out how she did that. Woods also, I think that Lucy, after all of that, I think that she thought that basically by her getting back in, it was, Woods, he helped out with that and everything, and she thought it was time for payback, and she thought she was going to have to give up a little something. Okay, but they come to find out he did something really weird. You got to go check it out. Like I said, I'm gonna make these very short now. Okay, but it was something else, and I was just like, okay. M has a wire put on him by Franco, FBI, to try to get Stu to, admit to wrongdoing, blah, blah, blah. They set up this meeting. The bodyguards just like, you shouldn't have brought the FBI with you. Okay, you lost your chance to have a meeting with Stu. And M is like, no, we're going to have this meeting one way or another. You have to look and see what happens to him. And, well, basically, I'll tell you, because I always put on here, spoiler alert, okay? So if you're watching this, hopefully you know that I'm going to tell some things that you probably don't want to, but I do want you guys to go see it for yourselves, because I'm gonna be skimming over this stuff, and so you have to really see it for yourself. But getting back to this, you know, Stu's bodyguard guy, he was sitting in the car and he was like, well, you shouldn't have brought the FBI with you. And Em was like, okay, let me just lose this wire. And Em took that wire off. Do you hear me? And Franco in there was so mad, he threw the phone in the garbage can and took that wire off. And because he wants to get down to the nitty gritty, because if Stu is the one that's framing him, he wants to get to Stu. Okay, so he wants his life back. And he gets in the car with the guy. The guy finds out, he got rid of the wire or whatever. And the guy basically, does something to Em. And the next thing Em knows, he's out. All right. So let me see where I'm at now. Franco is mad that he dished the wire. Lucy gets the tapes finally, after she got back in with the group, she got the tapes and she's looking through them and everything. And you have to look how she's looking through them. She's like, oh no, Stu, no. Because, Stu in the beginning gave her $5,000. She's like, oh no, this information is worth more than 5,000. Okay, more like 20 or something, So she sees that there's a lot of information there that he might not want put into the public. So and then she also comes across this one file that has like Julia Jane on it. And come to find out, it's the FBI agent that came to her house a long time ago, and she starts connecting the dots, and you have to see how she connects the dots and everything. And then the next thing I want to mention is that Em comes to meet JJ, and it goes down. Okay, Muncie, wait, let's go like this. Muncie wakes up, okay, from whatever happened, okay, from the last time he was in the car. He wakes up and he's like, he wakes up to JJ, Miss JJ, okay. Ugh. So anyway, he's just like, who are you? And I thought that this was been a private conversation between me and Stu. She claims to be his representative, blah, blah, blah. So then, Em is like, sort of like looking at Stu like, well, and he mentions this name, Don Sloss. And, Stu looks at him like, who's Don Sloss? I don't know Don Sloss. You know Don Sloss? And so, JJ, you could tell she's getting irritated by, all this and everything. And she's just like, okay, well, you don't have any information that we really need, though, So next thing you know, it was a shootout. Okay. And I'm not going to say who was hit or anything like that. You have to tune in, okay? And, but Em got out by his chinny chin chin. So Em is still alive, but he got out by the skin of his chinny chin chin. And that was episode 5. Episode 6 opens up with Em being washed up ashore on a beach, okay? And he's taken in by a militant character, okay? You need to go check him out, honey. In the meantime, Franco and his partner check out the crime scene that, where Em was at, and they're like, wow, what happened here? What went down, And then they were like, well, where's Muncie? And so, Franco's like, where's Muncie? Question mark of the day. And so Franco is suspicious of this agent. It's JJ. Okay, she pretend like she's somebody else again, but it's JJ. And she went through a hallway to make a call or something, and then she all of a sudden disappears. And Franco's very suspicious of it, but he didn't never directly say it. Okay, so there's a lot of like, where is she going? What is she up to? That you can tell he was suspicious of her. So Muncie ends up after he escapes. You have to go look at it. He ends up at the hospital. Okay, and guess who's there? Guess who the first one's there? Callie. So if you watch my previous video, I asked a question. Do you think that, Muncie and Callie's relationship will ever get better? Well, she loves her daddy. Okay, she loves her daddy. She just giving him a hard time right now because they haven't had a real relationship up until now. So, um, uh, but anyway, honey, let me tell you that whole thing turns into craziness. Okay, him being in the hospital, Callie tells him it's a policeman outside your door. He has to speak to the policeman. I'm just breaking this down real quick. It's a lot of stuff that happened in between, and you need to go look at it yourself because it's really good. Okay, and so the policeman comes in there, and all of a sudden he shackles Muncie to the hospital bed. So okay, Muncie can't even get out. All right, and then there's a disturbance, and the cop is called away. So who you think is coming? It turned into a scene. I don't know if you all ever saw The Godfather. It turned into a scene. It seemed like The Godfather was going down. Okay, you remember how they were in the hospital and they had to move their father from one room to the other, because somebody was coming to get him. Okay, somebody was coming to get him. Take him out. And so that was the same thing here. It followed the suit of that pretty much, okay? And so you gotta go watch that. That was a really good scene. And so then Callie came in clutch. That's all I gotta say. Callie came in clutch, and JJ is on the loose, and Franco, he gets what you call that? He gets skimmed by the bullet, and so by him getting skimmed by the bullet, and so therefore he can say it's an injury, he was able to start up a task force, and so therefore to get Muncie to a safe house. So then the Philly police department won't take him back into custody. Okay. And, M's worried about his family. Like, what about my family? What about my family? So, in the meantime, they said, well, let's just try to do this first. Okay. Get you to a safe house. Let's house Muncie and Franco. They get really buddy like, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like they forming like a friendship or something, and it was nice to see. They was joking about being Puerto Rican versus being black and things like that. It was just like a nice little jark that they had going on between them. And so you have to go check that out too. At the safe house, we find out what Franco's backstory is with Revitalize, the company that's behind all of this stuff. Okay. And come to find out, it's something personal. All right. You got to go check it out. But come to find out, it's something personal. And at the office, so the next thing they show is, Muncie and Lucy Simon, they're at the FBI headquarter office or something, and Franco and his partner is about to present the case to the upper management, in order to and Muncie and Lucy were going to testify, okay, and they would, what they were getting for it was Lucy would go into protective custody and Muncie would get his life back. That's what he said, I just want my life back. So they go in, Franco tells his whole story, he tells them everything, and basically it didn't go well. Okay. Basically they shut him down. All right. They shut the whole thing down. It was like, oh no, we'll take, basically, and he's done all this work and everything. And he's like, what, and he basically loses it. Franco and his partner, they totally get shut down by the FBI management, and it's unbearable for Franco. He's instructed by the upper management to return Muncie back into the Philly PD, into their hands, back into their custody. I'm sorry. And he takes out his anger on his partner. He pulls him up out of, takes it out on his partner. He storms out. Muncie and Lucy is like, hey, Franco, wait up, what's going on? Come to find out, Franco, he feels defeated and he can't offer either of them anything. But he didn't turn Muncie in. He said, but let me tell you, they're going to be looking for you soon. So by the time they find out real good that you're going to be on the run again. So get out and do whatever it is you got to do. And so both of them, Franco is just like, he cries and he walks off and he scurries off with his car. Okay. And so basically, he's just defeated. And at the same time, Lucy and Muncie standing there like, well, what are we supposed to do now? She doesn't get her protection. and he doesn't get his life back, what do we do now? So they just looked at each other, and Lucy was just like, she told Muncie, here, just take my key, because it's easy for me to rent a car than you. So it was nice of her to do that. And she said, you need to go see maybe Lucy, what's her name, Laura Jennings' widow. Maybe she has some kind of information, or some kind of lead. And so Muncie did go see Laura Jennings' widow, talk with her for a while. Come to find out, she was wheelchair bound, and he got another lead from her. Short of the story, he goes and he follows that lead. They end up in an Amish or something type of fair or something, and Muncie's just like, why am I here? I don't believe this, but that's where the person wanted to meet up. And so he met up there. He got some information from this guy. When he got the information from this guy, he hurries and he calls Franco, because he's like, hey, I got more information on this revitalized thing, And in the meantime, honey, Franco is not answering that phone, honey. He busy. He's bowling, he's smiling, he's drinking, he's having fun, and everything like that. He's smiling, and there's a crazy end to this episode, y'all. That's all I got to say. That's like, I really liked the episode. The episode was really good, the episodes, because I'm gonna put this is 5 and 6 together, all right, and I thought they were really good. Some really, these episodes, honey, right here, these episodes right here, this is where it all goes down. Okay, that's what I got to say. All right, but anyway, that's my rundown, my summary of episodes 5 and 6 of The Madness. See you guys for the last 2 episodes. Need this place out.